Well, afternoon, stranger. Name's Vinton. Pleased to make your acquaintance. I work over at the library in Raceland. And normally I'd be over there updating the card catalogs right about now, but I heard it was ladies' night tonight. So I figured I'd wander on down to the Swaller, see if I couldn't bag me a honey. Why don't you sit down? Keep me company. I have no idea who you're talking about. Shouldn't tracking people down be the sheriff's business? Unless that fellow owes you money. Is that it? You a gambler, stranger? Listen, after a few drinks, I tend to forget my own history, let alone that of this here neighborhood. Besides, information you're looking for is from quite a while back. Tell you what, though, gambler. You beat me at a game of checkers, and I'll have someone look up the history of that house that fella just moved into. Oh, dang it all. Well done, stranger. You done bested me at my own game. Tell you what, give me a few minutes and I'll call my friend over at the library. Let me see what kind of historical information we can dig up on that there house of yours. I'll fax over whatever he finds. Now get lost. You're hurting my chances.
Oh, welcome to the Drink and Swallow, stranger. You here to pick up that carry-out order? The chicken gumbo? Oh, never mind, Suge. I thought you was here from down the road a piece. Just as well, I guess. Our cook Lamont didn't bother showing up for work again tonight. Something about his goiter acting up on account of the weather. Well, say, you look like you know your way around the kitchen. Would you mind seeing if you could cook up that gumbo? It goes to the angry fella lives down the lane.
Well, looky here if it ain't my supper. Not sure how I feel about it being delivered by some stranger. You know, folks around here, we don't take kindly to strangers. Mr. Who? Oh, you must mean that fella moved in next door. I wasn't aware he'd gone missing. All I know is he's keeping odd hours and poking around here like he lost something. I also heard that that couple they hired to clean up the place is into the devil magic. You know, voodoo. I hear tell Mary Lee does the cavorting with the spirits and such. If I were you, stranger, I'd keep my distance from that one. She's just trouble looking for a place to happen. You don't want to go mess with that. That house next door has been subject to speculation for a long while. Now, I can't tell you much about the house's history, but I can tell you this, it's sat there empty for as long as I can remember. I'm surprised the Lawsons decided to move in, with it being cursed and all. Of course, they're not river folk like us, and probably don't carry much sense. The curse of the pirate Phineas Crown. Some folks believe that house next door was built by him, and that his ghost still walks the halls, keeping an eye out for folks trying to steal all his treasure. Listen, stranger, I'd love to talk with you more about this, but my wife's been nagging me all week to get that old air conditioner fixed. How about this? Why don't you take a look at it and get that thing fixed, and then I'll tell you all I know about that pirate.
Gets fixed.
Will set me on an anthill and rub jam in my ears. If that's the sound of my old air conditioner running, you just made yourself a new best friend. Now you just tell me what old Cooter can help you with. Like I was saying, folks say the famous pirate Phineas Crown built that house next door. Some say he's buried in the cemetery down the road. Folks around here are smart enough to stay clear of that place. Oh, Phineas Crown was a wicked one, all right. He used to run a smuggling operation out of New Orleans in the 1700s, and eventually got into pirating the Gulf of Mexico. He and his men would sneak up alongside trading ships in the middle of the night and everyone on board. Instead of looting the ship, he'd steal the whole dang thing. No one knows what happened to the ships he plundered. Some folks say he sailed them right up the Mississippi and into the swamps around here. When he got too old for pirating, he built a big old mansion and threw a party. And it was there, people say, that a horrible fire broke out and killed every last guest.
Hi, Detective. Welcome to Louisiana. My name's Charlotte. Why don't you cool off with a nice cold glass of lemonade? I take it you've had the misfortune of meeting my other half, Cooter. Good mercy. Where did I go wrong to marry that sack of bricks? Yes, we finally have some new faces just down the lane. I still should throw them a proper housewarming. I'm afraid Cooter doesn't like me leaving the house, as he is just plumb sure that I will run off with another man. Anyway, I just spend my days watching my stories and working on my dog collection. Mr. Crickets belonged to my dear mother before she passed, rest her soul. You see, Mother was deathly afraid of snakes. And since snakes are afraid of parrots, well, she found a feathered friend and a protector in Mr. Crickets. I apologize for the vulgarity the bird has learned from my loathsome husband. Oh, my dolls are my pride and joy. The doctor told us years ago that we should not have children because of Cooter's temper. But their tiny voices console me at night when I wish that I had made better life choices. Aside from Mr. Crickets, my dolls are my prized possession. I only need one more to complete my collection. And there's one in that game down at the tavern. But I've never had the good fortune of getting it out. Wolby, you've completed my collection. Oh, don't they look so happy all together like that? I wish I had some money to repay you, but Cooter handles the finances. I'll let you borrow Mr. Crickets for a little while, but you have to keep him away from that Mary Lee. That woman working for them folks down the road should not be trusted. Who knows what kind of voodoo she could do to my sweet Mr. Crickets? If I were you, I would keep my eye on her.
Five, 45, 20.
Keep your hands off our property.
Something I can do for you, stranger? I don't know nothing about it. Frankly, I don't care to. Don't tell me you came all the way down here to ask me such foolish questions. Do I look like I want to be bothered? The only ghost around here is gonna be wearing your shoes if you don't leave me alone.
Just who do you think you are running around here making such a mess? That foul excuse for a dog got into the garbage that you saw fit to spread across the kitchen. Now, it is one thing to be investigating the disappearance of Mr. Larson. It is entirely another to be making a mess for me. Now, I suggest you find that trash and pick it up. Detective, you smell like that garbage you've been picking up around here. If you've got a question to ask me, you best be quick about it. Like I said before, my beliefs are no concern of yours, Detective. If you have a hankering to find out about voodoo, I suggest you find your way downtown and speak with someone named Mama Amy. She runs the store down the way. She should be open about now, and she can answer any questions you might have.
Welcome to Voodoo Absolute. Folks round these parts call me Mama Amy. Look like you got something on your mind, child. Come on in, take a look round. Afraid I don't rightly know of any lost souls, child. The folks who moved in down the road best be moving on. Make no mistake, there's evil up there. I can tell by the look in your eyes you've seen the face of evil. I'm sure by now someone has told you about the curse of the evil Mr. Crown. I'd be happy to tell you more, but I don't much care for charity. The rain has been keeping me from restocking my inventory. How about you go fetch me some items for my display here? You do that, and I may teach you a little voodoo. Thank you for running that errand, Detective. Why don't you take this as payment? It's what I call a sleeping conjure. You put a little in someone's drink, and they will sleep fine for a short while. Is there anything else Mama Amy can do for you? Ugh. Just hearing that name makes my blood run cold. It's the man who built and then rebuilt the house down the way. I say rebuilt because he burned it. He burned it to the ground with the screams of his 13 crewmen inside. He didn't want them knowing where he'd hid the treasure. One skull each for every man who died in the fire. I suppose he wanted his crew with him long after he passed on. Find the skulls, and you find the treasure. I reckon that nasty old Mr. Crown is keeping watch over what he don't want found. Best be careful out there, detective. Snakes and gators aren't the only trouble in those waters. The only reason someone would be out there is because they want to be left alone. I'm afraid you'll have to tell that Mrs. Lawson that no one has seen nor heard from her missing husband.
No one's heard of my missing husband. I've posted signs around town, and it's all over the paper. Marcus wouldn't have simply wandered off and left my daughter and I alone. It was his idea to move here in the first place. I'm sure those crazy locals had something to do with it. That crazy neighbor of ours, he fires his gun at anything that moves. How do I know he didn't attack Marcus? Have you met the lowlifes at that bar? That dive bar down by the river? Don't tell me that place isn't full of criminals. I'm beginning to wonder if that couple we hired isn't behind all this. There's something shady about them. I can't put my finger on it, but I've seen the way she looks at me. I thought we were doing them a favor by giving them jobs and letting them stay in the carriage house. I would appreciate it if you would quit running all these little errands and get to the bottom of things.
Looks like that rain's here to stay this evening. How goes the investigation, detective? The dark magic is not something I recommend fooling with, detective. You best be keeping an eye out for the missing Mr. Lawson. And keep the other eye off me and my wife. That includes peeking round the corner where we're staying. That carriage house is going to stay locked. I told you everything I know, and you best be respecting our privacy. Well, I don't believe in ghosts, but that place makes me uneasy. Funny you ask, though. The only time I seen it open was the morning after Mr. Lawson disappeared. You can't be thinking that some ghost come out of his grave and went after him. Well, I never did actually unlock that gate, but I know where one of the keys is hiding. I suppose I could lend it to you, but I need you to help me with something first. All this rain is making these weeds grow faster than I can get rid of them. How about you grab a pair of them garden shears and clip all them weeds along the side of the house? See what I mean about them weeds? It's like they got a mind of their own. That key I was telling you about's in a tin on the top shelf in the shed. If I was you, I'd be leaving that graveyard alone.